Welcome to the Crazy Dre Podcast Show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to talk about fantasy football, NFL, week 2. We've got to do this. We're going to start with the Detroit Lions, Chicago Bears game. We got Griff, the fantasy football guru, who knows everything about fantasy football. He's been doing this for the last 10 years. I cannot argue with him because he just knows more than I do. Let's talk about the Bears and Detroit Lions. Obviously, we had a big disappointment against Green Bay Packers. Tell me, is it because Detroit thought Green Bay was just going to lay down and let us do what we do? Or is it because John Morton didn't know the playbook? Let me know.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me back on. Detroit was real disappointing this week. I don't think for all the same reasons that everyone else is saying, though. We kind of saw all across the league how offenses just didn't seem to be in the same timing. Defenses were really controlling everything all through week 1. And I think that has a lot to do with that change they made a couple of years ago where the preseason only has 3 games now instead of 4. Okay. And these players aren't playing as much in the preseason. So they just need more time together playing to really make the changes. Now, in the Detroit game, I think we just saw that with the Washington and Green Bay game, that Green Bay is a much better team than what we all thought. Micah Parsons obviously makes a huge, huge impact. Him with Rashawn Gary, that is 2 of the best edge rushers in the entire NFL. So your quarterback's always going to be under pressure. That's always going to be a tough thing. What we did with John Morton, and I know there's a big concern with Ben Johnson going to the Bears, but with John Morton, I don't think that he really did anything wrong. We were really struggling to get the ball down the field. And what do you do when you can't get the ball down the field and your quarterback isn't able to get things going? You move to easy plays, right? You run the ball and you try and do screen passes, just quick, simple things that can build some confidence, work your way up. What happened in that game? We started throwing short passes to Jahmyr Gibbs. He had 10 catches for the fewest yards in the history of the NFL.
There you go.
For 10 catches. So we were getting it out to the right guy so that you can make those easy, quick plays. The difference is that Jahmyr just wasn't able to get any space at all. Everything was contained. Everything was blocked. And Green Bay was right on top of it. So that's a really, really stellar job by Green Bay's defense. Way to be prepared for week 1. Here this week, I don't think we're going to see quite the same thing with Chicago. Chicago does have a good defense, but I think we're going to see a little bit more space here. I think you're going to see that offense moving a lot. And on the defensive side of the ball, they only allowed 188 yards. 27 points is really misleading in this case. They were on decent field position for some of those. And so, the defense didn't have to go very far. The Green Bay offense didn't have to go very far. So Detroit's defense was kind of put into a bad spot to start with a lot of those. But they allowed 108 yards, and one of those plays was 48 yards. So, you're allowing 100 yards for an entire game. That's a great defense. I really like the way that Calvin Shepard responded and talked to the media. I think that he talked to the players. Everyone's on board. And remember, some of those really bad injuries we had last year on defense, those guys still aren't all back, or they're still not 100% healthy, even though they're playing. So, this is the first time Hutch came back since week 5 last year. So, it's just first game back. We got a lot of things going, but I think that the defense really looked good. I think the defense is going to look great against Chicago. And I think that we're going to look just as good against Ben Johnson as Ben Johnson is against us. I don't think that he's going to have a special edge against us here. Too soon to really panic for all the Lions fans out there.
Okay. So you watched the game against Detroit and the Packers. Do you think that in the first half they were too safe? I thought they were too safe. I thought that they didn't use Laporta until the second half. They didn't open the field enough and they played into the Green Bay Packers defensive perspective by accident. So they kind of played into the Green Bay Packers system without letting all the Green Bay Packers know about it. I personally think that Laporta and the rest of the team were Williams not down the field, not sprinting the field. Uh, that played a huge part of it, where Green Bay then had the opportunity to be more aggressive. I just think that in the second half, Detroit then threw the ball to Laporta and still didn't find Williams a lot in the second half. Give me,
Yeah,
I watched the second half of the game. Give me that perspective.
yeah. Well, and that secondary is really good. Okay,
Okay.
I think that Laporta was not open. I think that Williams with his speed it's great, but a lot of what we did with him last year was short passes that he could catch and then make plays in the open field. And it just wasn't available in this game.
Okay.
So I think part of the success that Laporta had in the second half had a lot to do with just as the defense starts to slow down and get tired, that's when we can break away and start making some things happen. But
Mhm.
passes off to the tight end, passes to the running back. Those are the kind of things that you have to do when you're struggling as an offense.
Okay. So in week 2 against the Bears, what do you think Detroit has to do better?
Yeah, well, and I know that Chicago also is very disappointed with their loss to Minnesota,
Mhm.
where they were dominating the first half and then
Mhm.
lost in the second half. So
Yeah.
they know that they really need to keep things together. I know that even though they won't say anything, I know this means a lot to Ben Johnson. Obviously, this is a division rivalry. No one wants to start the season 0-2. So
Mhm.
for Detroit, just based on the same kind of setup that we looked at last week, um, I think that, the defense for the Bears might really slow us down early. But I think we have to
Mhm.
do the same thing that we did. Quick passes to Jameer Gibbs, quick passes to Sam Laporta. And then eventually, as you do that, it'll open up a little bit deeper passes for St. Brown and for Williams. We also saw Tesla got another touchdown this week. It's a touchdown every preseason game and week 1. So that's 4 weeks in a row for him.
And that, you know what? I would tell you this. Unfortunately, for that touchdown for Tesla, about maybe 65% of Lions fans didn't get to watch it because it was probably one of the best touchdown passes that you saw.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I feel bad for that guy. All right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be a fun season though with Tesla moving forward.
Yes.
Looking forward to him having a really nice role in the offense.
Yes. Yes. All right. So we're going to go straight to week 2. Washington Commanders, Green Bay Packers. Eckler is out with a Achilles heel. He is done. He is wrapped up. He is no good. He is retired. All right. Maybe I've gone too far. Retired, maybe go too far. All right. Any big thing about that you saw about the Green Bay Packer Commander game? Do you think that
Yeah.
Green Bay is the team to be, or is it just because the Commanders just didn't play that well?
Yeah. I think that Green Bay is the real deal.
Mm,
I think that Philadelphia is still the team to beat in the
okay.
NFC, but I think that Green Bay could be the team that beats them. I know Detroit is still going to come out. They're going to be very strong this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think they're going to take a slight regression from last year. So I
Yeah.
don't think that they're the team, but I think that it is kind of that Green Bay and Green Bay and Philadelphia
Okay.
are the top teams.
Okay.
And the longer Micah Parsons is there, the more familiar he's going to be with everything else, and the more familiar everyone else is going to be with him. So they know when he makes a move, they're going to have something to do right away. So it's
Mhm.
a little bit of an adjustment, but that team's going to be really, really good. moving forward. In this game, as you mentioned with Austin Eckler, really unfortunate, and he is getting older, into his 30s now. It really could be a retirement thing. So out for the season with the Achilles tendon. They do have a few other running backs. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, or Bill, as he goes by, is going to be stepping up. Chris Rodriguez is going to be stepping up. Rodriguez is the guy that might be more of your goal line type back. So watch out for him if they're on the 1 yard line. He might be the guy, or third down or fourth down and 1. He might be the guy. Also, I know a lot of third and fourth and 1 that Washington team's going to have Jaden Daniels going for it instead of the running back. But I think Washington is going to be just fine. I think that they discovered a few holes in their game plan as well. But I think that team is going to be very, very good moving forward. I think Green Bay is just that good right now.
Okay. For the Commanders, who's the guy that you do pick up for fantasy points? Just the Commanders. We're not going to talk about Green Bay. Just Commanders. The weaker team. And let's say
there's not really anyone I can think of that would be available probably at this point. If you wanted to pick up Rodriguez from the waiver wire, you probably can, but Krosky-Merritt is probably on someone's team already. Jaden Daniels is. Terry McLaurin is. If you have a really small league, Deebo Samuel might be available. I would definitely run after Deebo Samuel if he's available in your league. A lot of people were really doubting him this year, but excuse me, I think that he looks like he's going to be a really huge part of this. Also, with losing Austin Eckler, he might run some more of those jet sweep type plays where he's running with the football like what he did in San Francisco.
Okay. Rams, Titans. 1-0 Rams. 0-1 Titans. Anything special? Should we just keep going through this?
Yeah, the Rams defense is really good. Cam Ward might have another really tough day out here. I would try and avoid Calvin Ridley and Tony Pollard this week, but I would keep an eye out on those guys. I do think that those guys are both going to have really good seasons. Cam Ward, I think, is going to be okay, but unfortunately, with the Broncos last week and the Rams this week, these are 2 top 5 defenses. It's just going to look really, really rough these first 2 weeks, but the Rams should have this one handedly.
Okay. So we'll go through this one. Jaguars, the Bengals. Is Joey Burrow back? Is he back to being that quarterback that everyone is hoping for fantasy football?
Yeah, and team really struggled against Cleveland last week. Again, I think this is all part of just getting your timing and everything straight again, getting back into football shape. Defenses were beating offenses. I think that those guys are going to be just fine. I mean, obviously, Jamar Chase only had the 1 catch, so this is nothing to worry about. These guys are going to be fine. The Jaguars with Liam Cohen as their new head coach, big-time offensive coordinator in the league in the past. He was with Tampa Bay last year as the OC that had Baker Mayfield and all those guys all explode in Tampa. He was also the offensive guru for the Rams back when Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp did the 1,900 yards and the Super Bowl. So he's the head coach in Jacksonville now. The big thing I would say here is that I've seen Travis Etienne available in a lot of fantasy leagues. He is supposed to split time with Tank Bigsby and Bashal Tatum this year. With Tank Bigsby getting traded this week, you saw the great performance last week. Etienne put up 143 yards on the ground. I would say that he's going to end up with a really phenomenal year. Before Tank Bigsby got there, Etienne finished as a top 5 running back in the entire league in fantasy. So with Bigsby back out, make sure Etienne is on your team.
Okay.
Also have Brenton Strange, who had the brilliant game last year. This last week, he had 4 catches for 59 yards. He's going to be a big part of that offense, much like Cade Otton did for Tampa Bay last year for Liam Cohen's team. And so those are going to be big pieces. Keep an eye on Trevor Lawrence. This is a quarterback whisperer kind of a coach. And Trevor Lawrence was supposed to be a once-in-a-generation type quarterback. So he has fallen way short of that, but watch out. This team might be okay.
Trevor Lawrence. Do you still – can't believe we're talking about Trevor Lawrence. Do you still have faith in Trevor Lawrence? It's like having faith in Jesus because he looks like Jesus.
Don't misplace my faith. My faith is in Liam Cohen, not in Trevor Lawrence. But Trevor Lawrence might end up doing okay in fantasy because of Liam Cohen.
Okay. Oh, yeah. We'll keep it there.
But Travis Etienne and Brenton Strange, the tight end, those are the two pieces that I would really watch for. I think everyone on every league already has, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Those guys are all already taken. So keep an eye out for those guys in this one.
What do we do with the Browns and Ravens? I mean, come on. The Ravens used to be the Browns, and the Ravens are not the Browns, but the Browns are just an existing team that now are the Browns. Browns against Ravens, rookie quarterback, Sanders. Am I right?
No, Joe Flacco is the quarterback.
Oh, you're right. Joe Flacco.
And then, Dylan Gabriel beat out Shedeur Sanders for the number 2 spot.
So what do we think of this Browns race? Is this anything to talk about? Is there anything we got to talk about? Do we just pick the spreadsheet of the points of over-under points, fans, not so much fantasy football points individually, but game points? Do we give them 4.5 points Ravens, 3.5 points Ravens, plus 5.5 now Browns?
And the Browns have a good defense, so that is going to keep games a little bit closer. It shouldn't be big blowout games. With this one, since the Ravens lost, especially the way that they lost to the Bills last week, I think they're really going to be hungry for the win this week. So I think that they are going to be particularly good. But Flacco, who looked like he lost his arm last year in Indianapolis, he came out in that game against the Bengals, threw up 290 yards. We all expect the Bengals to have one of the worst defenses in the league. So you can kind of play with that how you will. But if Flacco's throwing up 300 yards a game and they have that defense the way that it is, the Browns might be a very competitive team in that division this year.
So you want to pick up Flacco? Actually,
Flacco is a nice guy to have on your bench as a bye week guy. But not someone I think that you necessarily have to go after. If Quinshon Judkins is still available in your league, I would go after him. He's a running back, rookie this year. He was expected to take over, but had contract issues and some off-the-field issues. Everything's been taken care of. He is going to miss the first 2 weeks, so he won't play this week either. But after this, he should step right in. He's got his contract all sorted out now, and he should be the lead running back. Maybe not in week 3, but by week 4, he should take over. Otherwise, you're looking at Sampson and Ford as the 2 running backs again this week. I would think that because the Ravens should be ahead on the scoreboard, Sampson is more of a pass-catching type running back. He'll probably be the better fantasy option as opposed to Jerome Ford, who's more of a straight-down runner.
Okay. Bills and the Jets. Is the Bills just going to roll the Jets? Is this just something that just going to wash over?
A lot of people said that the Steelers looked like they had a team that could potentially go to the Super Bowl this year, and the Jets almost had them. So, the defense – is going to have to do more. The offense looked like they had a few things that really worked. They have Justin Fields, who can be mobile like Lamar Jackson. And, of course, we saw with the Bills last week that that can be a problem with the Bills. It wasn't until the fourth quarter when the Bills really came back. They were down 40-25 in the fourth quarter before making that miracle comeback that the Bills always seem to do. The Bills, I think, definitely win this one. But I'm very curious to see this Jets team and what all they do. Brees Hall had 100 yards. I think that he could do that again here against the Bills. Justin Fields, I think, can have a good game, mobile, and good for fantasy purposes, being the mobile type quarterback. I would expect a big slowdown in production from Keon Coleman. He had a lot of his production came from that fourth quarter comeback. I don't think that they're going to have that same issue here, so I think the Bills will be running the ball at the end of the game rather than passing the ball. So I expect Keon Coleman to slow down a bit.
Okay. Patriots, Dolphins. They say that the Dolphins head coach is on the way out because they're not happy with him after week 1. Is it too soon? What do you want? Point systems, over-unders, Patriots, Dolphins.
Yeah, Dolphins look like they were really struggling. We'll see with Tyreek Hill if he starts to put anything else back together here. But yeah, Dolphins looked like the worst team in football last week.
Wow.
So they were playing against the Indianapolis Colts, who we mentioned last week might be a surprisingly good team this year. Coming up against the Patriots here, the Patriots are expected to be a very good team this year. This one, I think, goes to the Patriots. But the big question is going to be Tyreek Hill, I think, how he performs, and if he ends up getting traded, what the trade might be. I know the Steelers are talking about it. I know the Chiefs are talking about it. So there are a few options for him. Leaving the
talking about Miami is giving up on their season already, and already talking about Hill.
I don't think so because Tyreek's really just been bad, kind of for the locker room, right? He was
no. Let's talk about that. How is he bad for locker room? Is it because he's beating his wife up too much? Is it because he has got too many babies? What is it about it?
That's all personal life stuff. But as far as the locker room goes, at the end of last season when he walked out on the team and at the last game there, he really lost a lot of respect from all the guys. He said, "I'm done in Miami. Like, I'm out of here. This is going to be it." McDaniels is actually the one who ended up talking to him and saying, like, hey, like, figure this thing out. You're going to be okay. Like, you're fine. And he changed his whole tune and he said, oh, no. Like, I'm fine here in Miami. Everything's going to be okay this year. Well, if it's much like that, like Odell Beckham Jr., and that kind of diva kind of mentality that wide receivers have, if your team's not winning, sometimes you don't feel like you're winning. Randy Moss had this a little bit. And the teams that he played for. And, you can still be a great wide receiver, but if you're not playing for the team, then the team loses faith in you, right? And so this is the first year that he is not a captain on the team for Miami since he's been there. And so I think that took notice as well. But he looks like he's healthy. He doesn't have injury issues. So, yeah, I think that if they can get him the ball, I think that things can work out okay for them. If he ends up getting traded away, they also have a young kid named Malik Washington. That would be in his second year. He is a phenomenal player as well. And have Jalen Waddle with Washington on the other side, I think they would still be very set at wide receiver.
Okay. All right. We'll go from there. 49ers and Saints, Brock Purdy is out. Max Jones is in. Is this going to be a struggle for the 49ers to get through the whole year without Brock Purdy?
What? We saw Mac Jones with the Patriots, and he was still able to keep about a 500 team with the Patriots when they didn't have a lot of the talent, right? When Tom Brady left, Gronk went with them. They lost a lot of the pieces because they really sold out that last year to win the Super Bowl. So there were too many contracts to fulfill. So right away, a lot of those guys left. Cam Newton came in, played for that year. They lost more pieces after Cam. Matt came in, started playing, and they were still kind of in the middle. With San Francisco, you have one of the top offensive lines in the league. You have the best running back in the league, as long as he's healthy.
But he's hurt. They've been talking about him having calf injuries all week, and it sounds like that he might play and might not. I can't. I mean, it's like flip a coin.
Last week they mentioned that Christian McCaffrey had an injury.
Yeah,
but he's playing through this. This is not a concern for him.
Okay.
But yeah, as long as McCaffrey's out there, you're in good hands. They also picked up Brian Robinson from Washington at the beginning of the year, and Brian Robinson has been a great running back for fantasy. Along with this offense, I think that he would also be one of the top running backs in the league if McCaffrey were out. But with the receiving options as well, they're out for George Kittle, right? And Kittle's going to be out for the next month or so. But
so let's talk about Kittle. What's wrong?
Yeah, and Kittle has a hamstring issue. That hamstring issue is what kept him out a lot of games last year as well. So that hamstring could be 4 to 5 weeks. It could be a little bit less, but he'll be out here for the next month. But without him, they still have Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings. Juwan Jennings is kind of questionable right now. But with Pearsall and Jennings and McCaffrey and that offensive line, I think that the 49ers still come out very, very strong. They have a very strong defense as well. I think that they do great here with a big game against the Saints.
Okay. Giants, Cowboys didn't play that well. There's a report that Dak Prescott may have a big game after that first game of the season. Is there anything into it that you're just like, oh, yeah, obviously Cowboys going to run the table?
Yeah, so I'm really interested to see this one. Keep a close eye on Javonte Williams as well. In a lot of leagues, Javonte Williams was not drafted, but after last week's 2-touchdown performance, a lot of folks did pick him up. I know that he's not available in most leagues anymore. 2 touchdowns is always really impressive, but he did have 15 carries for 54 yards, which is not that impressive. But with Jalen Carter and his issues last week for the Eagles, with him being out of the game, Javonte Williams was able to run the ball straight down the gut for the team. Outside of Jalen Carter, the other best defensive tackle who plays right in the middle of the field is probably with the Giants and Dexter Lawrence. Lawrence is phenomenal. I don't think that Williams is going to be able to run straight up the middle. So I'm going to see if Williams can run side to side out here. They have a lot of talent out there with Abdul Carter now. They've got Kayvon Thibodeau. They've got Brian Burns. There's a lot of good guys on defense here. So I'm curious to see if the run game can get going. If they can do that, I think that Dak's going to be fine. I think CeeDee Lamb comes back from some of those woeful drops from last week. I think George Pickens could be a really nice fantasy play this week. I think that might be a quality option for you as a starter if you need him. Otherwise, for the Giants, still struggling on offense. They're looking to get everyone. Malik Neighbors has a back issue that he's been dealing with for a long time. If he can get healthy, they might make this a little more competitive, but I think at this point, this one's going to go to the Cowboys just because there's not enough offense to play with the Cowboys.
Okay, that makes sense. How about Steelers, Seahawks? I feel like this is like a 500 game. Both teams are not as good as they look. One team's 0-1. One team's Steelers 1-0. Aaron Rodgers. Did he just win a game because it just happened the way to work out his way? Or is it just because the Steelers are a good team?
Well, and this is one that the the Jets had the big lead on the Steelers, and so they had to come back, and that's why Aaron Rodgers had those passing touchdowns at the end of the game. Hopefully he won't have to put so much in his own hands moving forward here. The big surprise for these guys is in the running back room. They have Jaylen Warren, who did get great and was expected that way. They picked up that rookie Caleb Johnson, who was expected to be splitting time, doing the Najee Harris type role, splitting time. But instead, right before week 1, they put in Kenneth Gainwell, and so that he was going to be the RB2.
You're right.
And Kenneth Gainwell looked like he had some flashy moments. He is an undersized guy. He has been with the Eagles his whole career. So he's been behind like Saquon Barkley and Miles Sanders before that. But he is a talented young guy. Watch out for him because they'll split him off. So he won't be just looking like a running back. He'll be playing in a wide receiver's position. And he'll catch the ball, which is really, really great for PPR leagues for fantasy.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Otherwise, I think the Steelers have one of the best defenses. I think the Seahawks have a very good defense. But right now, the Seahawks' biggest concern is getting their running game going. And I don't think that they're going to be able to do that against the Seahawks. Excuse me, against the Steelers.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Steelers should work. Yeah. Broncos, Colts, any type of big player that you think is going to take the lead?
Yeah, I think big defensive game here. Both of them, they have two of the top defenses in the league. We saw quite the surprise out of the Colts. Everyone's been down on the Colts. Before the week started last week, I know I came out here and I said that everyone was going to laugh at me because I thought Daniel Jones might be a top 10 quarterback this year. He is my pick, like I said last year with Sam Darnold and the Vikings. I think that he's the guy that really makes the huge difference, the big comeback for the league this year. Daniel Jones, best offensive line he's ever played behind. First time that he's ever had quality wide receivers. He's got the rookie tight end, Tyler Warren, who's a total game changer, and then one of the best backs in the league with Jonathan Taylor. So I think with that whole offense set up the way they are and that defense already being one of the best out there, I think Daniel Jones is going to look very, very good all season. This week against the Broncos, I think the Broncos have the best defense in the entire league. I think Daniel Jones is really going to be slowed down. I don't think he's going to look really great. I think everyone in the media is going to come out and say, oh, no, Daniel Jones, he's back to the way he was. Don't start Daniel Jones this week. But after this week, the rest of the year, Daniel Jones, watch out. That guy's going to be very, very good the rest of the way.
Well, shoot, folks. I think I heard it here first. This guy loves Daniel Jones. I can't tell you different.
It's the system he's in. He had a horrible offensive line with the Giants the whole time he was there, and his only real receiving threat was Saquon Barkley.
Well, I can't. I don't know. Daniel Jones. Oh, I remember he was in the New York Giants. Don't know. Panthers, Cardinals. I get so confused to watch these two games. This game itself because it looks bad. I don't want to live in South Carolina to watch the Panthers. And I sure don't want to live in Arizona and watch Cardinals.
This one's going to be probably a less exciting game for most folks. Two teams that a lot of people aren't really watching right now. I think this one goes to the Cardinals. The Panthers, I think, are still working on a lot of things. Kyler is healthy and he's mobile. They have James Conner and Trey Benson who are splitting time now. Benson had a good game. He had 69 yards last week. I think that James Conner might pull up with 100 yards in this one. And then with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride receiving, I think that the Cardinals are going to look sharp. Ted McMillan had kind of a slow week for the Panthers last week. But again, tough defense. This week against the Cardinals, things should open up a little more. So keep an eye on Ted McMillan, the rookie. He is supposed to get all kinds of targets this year. He might break out a little bit in this one. But also keep an eye on him for the rest of the year. Ted McMillan, might be one of the better wide receivers in the league this year.
All right. And then let's talk about, I don't know, this is going to be a difficult game. The Eagles and the Chiefs, they say, well, I'm going to go to the players. But Eagles and Chiefs, this can't be a gun out shootout, right? There's going to be some letdown between this game, right?
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. The Eagles really found a way to contain the Chiefs in the Super Bowl last year. I think that's going to be the same situation here in this one. The biggest thing is with Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy both out. You're looking at Hollywood Brown, Marquise Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster are going to be kind of your top targets for the Chiefs, along with Travis Kelce. But yeah, significant slowdown. The Eagles lost a lot of guys on defense last year. They moved a lot of new pieces in. But I think that this one, the Eagles are going to take the win in Arrowhead, which is such a tough place to play. But yeah, I think that just the Chiefs don't have the firepower right now to get the win over the Eagles.
Let's be real. Chiefs don't have firepower, but they have Taylor Swift, and they also have the referees. So there's enough
A lot of fan base. Arrowhead is very difficult to win in. So
I know, but they have Taylor Swift there. They have the referees.
Congratulations to those two on their engagement as well.
I think we have a humorous joke in this thing right here. Griff is right. Let's not take away from Taylor Swift because we have to. It's a podcast. We have to talk about the most unattractive artist of all time. I don't know what to tell you. I can't figure this out.
I'm happy for those kids. I wish them both the best.
Yeah. Let's hope for the best. All right, Falcons, Vikings. A lot of people say McCarthy is a little bit overrated because the Bears kind of melted down. I feel like the Vikings, McCarthy is going to be probably maybe a little letdown for a lot of fantasy football teams out there.
I was totally shocked when that's kind of the way that everyone kind of called it this year. I think very similar to having Sam Darnold in there last year. There's just too many good pieces for the quarterback to be bad. And so J.J. McCarthy, he's always been a winner. He's won the state championship in high school. He won the national championship in college. He's got a great resume. I think in his entire life, he has 3 losses going all the way back through high school. So this guy is a winner. He always wins. He's a good passer. He's also a mobile quarterback. So he's going to be more mobile than Sam Darnold was last year. I think the Vikings look really, really sharp. They already got the first win in. They've got 2 more games they got to get through without Jordan Addison. Adam Thielen just came in right before the game last week. I don't think he was really familiar with the new game plan and the scheme and the way that they had everything set up. I think that offense is going to look a lot better. It did. It looked like JJ looked like a rookie quarterback in the first half against the Bears. Yeah. But as we saw into the second half, really got rolling. I think they're just going to continue that trend here, and I think that they're going to knock off the Falcons.
Okay. Sounds like a game. I think, as a Michigan fan, I still want the Vikings to lose. So let's go Falcons. Remember, right? I got Lions hat. I don't want the Vikings to win or Green Bay.
We want the Falcons.
Let's go Falcons. Please, Falcons, do something. We need all the help we need. Detroit's already lost the game. All right. Buccaneers, Texans, 1-0. Buccaneers, Texans 0-1. Monday Night Football, ABC Sports. Turn down your throat, America. Let's go. Who? Texans or Buccaneers?
Yeah, this one I think is going to be a really, really good game. Texans, tough draw last week. I'm very curious to see how Nick Chubb does this week. In the preseason, he was averaging 5 yards per carry. He had 13 carries for 60 yards, which is just under 5 yards per carry in the week 1 loss. If he can get any type of explosiveness back, he's really going to boost up that average. He's running just fine, though. He's not looking like a scrub out there. He's playing good football. He just doesn't quite have that explosiveness. He still has the great vision. He looks like he's making his cuts at the right spot. He's just got to be able to get into the second level. So I'm curious to see if Nick Chubb can do that in this game against the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are the 4th most fantasy points given up to opposing team running backs right now. Of course, this is just after 1 week, but this is an opportunity where Nick Chubb could really run the ball. We'll see if he can be in old Nick Chubb form. On the other side of the ball with the Buccaneers, they have the rookie Emeka Egbuka, who made all kinds of noise last week with 2 touchdowns. This is the guy that I thought as a rookie wide receiver, he's going to be the best rookie coming out of this class. Not necessarily because of talent, but just because of the system he's in. I think that he's going to be phenomenal the rest of the way. I think Mike Evans is going to have Derek Stingley on him, and he is one of the best corners in the league. So I think Mike Evans is going to be a little bit slower. I think they're going to need Egbuka to do well. They're going to need Kata Otten to do well at the tight end spot. The Texans should be playing heavy pressure on the Bucs. I think in this one, either one of these teams could win. I think I'm just tossing the coin up here because it's in Houston. I'm going to say Houston for the win.
There you go. He's got Houston for the win, folks. Another Monday Night Football game. The Chargers against the Raiders. Raiders once was in Oakland and LA, now are playing against the LA Chargers. And who doesn't want this to happen?
Yeah.
What's going on here? Both teams are 1-0. I can't tell you to flip a coin to, I don't know. Tell me what you do.
Yeah, this one, I don't think we need to flip a coin on this one. This one I am giving to the Chargers all the way. The Chargers beat the Chiefs last week. And I think that the Chiefs are obviously the better team compared to the Raiders. I think the Raiders are going to be a far improved team with what they were last year. Pete Carroll's out there coaching now. They've got the great pieces with Ashton Genty. Hopefully he can have a great season. Brock Bowers still came out, had 100 yards in the game last week. So I think that Bowers is going to be great for these guys. They kind of got surprised with the Amari Cooper saying that he was going to play and then deciding he wasn't going to play right before week 1 and decided to retire, which all the best to him in retirement. But it just kind of left the team surprised without him.
Who?
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper just retired?
Amari Cooper decided he was going to retire at the end of last season.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And then just a few weeks ago, he said, all right, I'm going to come back and I'm going to play. And I'm going to play with the Raiders, which is the team that originally drafted him. So for just a short period of time, he was practicing with them. He was going to be the WR2 to start with Jacoby Myers out there, but I think he would have been WR1 just a little way into the season. He's one of the best receivers in the league for years. But he did say before week 1, he said, I'm sorry, I just don't think I've got it. I'm going to retire. And, you hate to hear that, but then he actually filed his paperwork like the very next day after he talked to them. A lot of these guys say they're going to retire and then they just leave the paperwork for a year or two. He went ahead and he signed everything. So he is done. But it just kind of messed with the game plan for what they were all thinking. They still pulled off the win last week. But I think that the Chargers might be the team in the AFC to beat. We're going to have to see how it goes. I mean, they already beat the Chiefs. So you already beat the Super Bowl champion. And then the Bills and the Ravens are the other two teams right there. Jim Harbaugh, everywhere he goes, he wins. And last year, he took a 5-11 team, made them 12-5, and or 11-5, and this year they might be very, very close. So watch out. That Quentin Johnson, everyone seemed excited about. He got 2 touchdowns last week. Everyone on the team thinks that he's going to continue to have a big role in the offense. So keep an eye on him for fantasy purposes.
I'm calling his dad, Jim Harbaugh's dad, and John Harbaugh. Do you think he can win? No, John Harbaugh is better. And that's why Jim is in College Football Hall of Fame in Michigan. And that's why he couldn't be anyone in the NFL.
Jim lost the first several years to Ohio State before finally getting the win. Once he was able to beat Ohio State, he won the national title.
Exactly.
So here he is. He's already beaten the Super Bowl champion. Now he's got to go. He's got to beat his brother to be the top dog. But they had the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL last year. Defense looks great this year. Offensively, they look really good. Justin Herbert looks good. Omarion Hampton was really doing well. He screwed up right before halftime. He went out of bounds where he should have just gone down. Marshawn Lynch, you saw on the sidelines, actually came over and talked to him about that and said, like, this is the one thing we can't do. They quit letting him run as much after that. Najee Harris came in and started running. It was like he was putting time out for a few minutes. Hampton came back into the game. He still had 15 carries. But I think that Hampton is going to get 20 carries every game. I think that he's going to learn from that mistake. Fortunately, it wasn't a game-changing mistake. But I think that, that Chargers team is going to be very, very tough to beat all season long.
Look, folks, Chargers, Michigan, yellow, the stripe.
I'm a State fan.
He's a State fan.
I'm a Michigan State fan, and these Michigan guys are just good right now.
Man, we're always got to be good. I mean, no matter what, Big Brother goes everywhere. We're going to take care of business. And John Harbaugh, he's not Big Brother. He's safe with the Ravens. He's not going to win another Super Bowl because Lamar Jackson's not going to be Josh Allen ever again based on what happened at 40-41 victory.
The Bills are continuing to beat the Ravens.
Of course.
The Chiefs are continuing to beat the Bills. So.
Josh Allen is the man. I mean, look, Lamar, I don't know what to tell you. You can come to Detroit and we'll fit in. We'll trade Jared Goff to you guys, to the Bills, and the Bills might have a heartbreak hotel, Elvis Presley. But you come to Detroit, you'll be a winner. Because you know what? We got Dan Campbell. And we'll work you out, and we'll make the thing work. We'll throw elbows, fist pump on you. We'll throw body slams. We'll do it in Detroit. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? Thank you, Griff. No,
we'll bite some kneecaps off.
Of course. Come on, Lamar Jackson. You know you don't want to deal with Ravens being beaten by Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is going to beat you in a Super Bowl in the AFC Championship game against John Harbaugh. You don't want that. Come to Detroit. We'll beat Green Bay. We'll beat your former team, Ravens, and we'll beat Josh Allen. Don't you want to beat Josh Allen in the Super Bowl? Come on to Detroit. We've been trading players along the way all the time. Hell, we would have traded Barry Sanders to 49ers if we had the opportunity. But nope, Barry quit. Can't go enough of that. Right? Am I right? Am I just going crazy? This is why they call me Crazy Dre Podcast.
You got quite the rant going.
Griff has no idea what the show is going on right now because he's like, what do I talk about? This guy's going nuts. He's going nuts from like 30 years ago. Griff, I want to thank you for this show. I think you ran down through the system. I think that we ran through every game. This episode is going to be on Sunday morning. no matter what. All you peeps on the street, you better know what you're talking about. Fantasy football. Prove Griff wrong. Prove him wrong. Email us. Email me. YouTube, message me. Tell me that he's right. Because, no, Griff is always right. Because it's Griff. Me. He lives in Colorado. What's better than living in Colorado? In mountains, you can't go outside. I mean, you could have lived in Grand Rapids. You could go everywhere.
Appreciate you having me on the show, Dre.
No, this is fun, folks. Detroit goes 0-2. I think I might have a meltdown.
It's still too early. We still got guys coming back that aren't even playing yet.
Dude, I'm serious. If Detroit goes 0-2, I might have to put myself in a psych ward that doesn't exist.
We're not even fully loaded yet. Nobody's got anything to worry about.
Psych ward. I'm going to go into a psychological ward, and they're not going to be any facility that doctors, nurses are going to be there. I'm just going to show up and say, people are like, who are you? Oh, Detroit lost again. To the Bears. So I'm here. Like, this is not a hospital.
Got to beat the Bears.
The Bears. All right, folks. Peace out. It's been a little longer than we thought. Chat with you soon. Griff, we'll talk to you very soon. Probably next week. We'll probably have a better picture of players to actually pick up, drop, and we'll go from there. Am I right?
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, see you, bud.
See ya.